So it's great to be here. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully share my screen here. All right, do you see the title slide there?
Perfect, yes.
Wonderful, great. As I was introduced, my name is Jason LaPerriere, and I am an Associate Director of Admission at Wheaton. And happy to be sharing more information about Wheaton with you today. Actually going to kick us off with a quick video that really highlights the Wheaton campus, the Wheaton community, and then I'll come back, join you, and walk through some slides and share some additional information about Wheaton. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and cue this up, and I will join you just after.
Basically, just coming here for the first time, I was like bewildered by just how pretty everything was.
I'm learning not only from the teacher, but I'm learning from my friends.
All the opportunities are so readily available for you. You just have to pick and choose like which ones you want to do.
Just the faculty and the people here were like so warm and nice that I was like, I think this is a place for me.
The natural numbers, as a set, have no limit points.
But they will deflect. They will warp space-time around them.
And people really do appreciate this. As a director, to say, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure.
I think the point is to do these things, to come together, to encourage ourselves, despite, and in fact, because the work is so very hard to do.
Every day at Wheaton is different, but every day is different in a very beautiful way.
Yeah, 77.4, yep.
This is a wonderful, safe place to try things.
College is an opportunity to reinvent yourself in a lot of different ways.
It's really gaining those new connections and being like, hey, now I can think in a different way.
Here, great faculty, accomplished faculty, who are accessible.
Professors really do want to get to know you and talk to you.
It's weird how amazing they are.
I think it just goes back to that whole diversity of thought.
Having a one-on-one experience with professors in small classrooms where you don't have to hesitate and ask questions.
The one piece of unsolicited advice that I give to students is go study abroad.
Hi, I'm Katie Panzer.
And currently I'm studying abroad in the Kingdom of Bhutan.
For the past 4 months, I've been living in Copenhagen, Denmark.
And we're learning about wildlife and the cultures of Tanzania and how they interact with each other.
Good morning, you're listening to WCCS, your student-run radio station. We've got some great tunes lined up for you, and it is a beautiful day in the state of Massachusetts.
When they say student-led campus, like this is a student-led campus.
Everything goes back to what is the strategy? How are we going to get from A to B?
What's our brand? What do we want to be known for? What's our competitive edge? And we came up with grit and toughness and resiliency, intensity, selflessness, being a team, communication, energy, all of these things that we've shown for the past 2 months. Now we gotta go show everyone else.
Wheaton is special to me because of the people that I've met here in this community.
It's the people that really make this experience what it is.
Like the interactions, the friendships I've built, the relationships I've had here, like, this is home. This is home, yeah.
I hope all of you enjoyed that introduction to Wheaton. One of my favorite aspects of that video is that it was actually written, produced, and directed by a student on campus in our film and new media studies department. I'd like to just start you off by sort of running through some of the things that I hope you'll remember after the presentation today as to what makes Wheaton unique and different. 4 main aspects that really, I think, round out the Wheaton experience and make it the unique place that it is. And those are our flexible educational model through our Compass curriculum, guaranteed internship funding for every single student, the amazingly close-knit student community that exists on campus, and the powerful outcomes that students enjoy when they leave Wheaton. like to take this time to share some background information about Wheaton that I think will help you understand us a bit better. In terms of our history, we were founded in 1834 and became a liberal arts college in the early 1900s. In terms of our ranking, we're ranked in the top 50 amongst national liberal arts colleges by the Times Higher Education Wall Street Journal organization. One of my favorite, this is one of my favorite rankings because it really focuses on student satisfaction. And that satisfaction is when they're on campus, but also after they leave campus, and reflecting back on how they feel their education prepared them for life after Wheaton. In terms of our location, we are located in Norton, Massachusetts, which is consistently ranked one of the top 10 safest cities or communities in the United States, top 5 in Massachusetts. We're about 40 minutes south of Boston, Massachusetts, and we're about 10 minutes away from a train station that will bring students up to Boston or south to Providence, Rhode Island. So we are in a suburban area, but at the same time, students really enjoy nice, easy access to Boston, to Providence, and we're about 3.5 hours from New York City. Our student body consists of over 1,700 students from across the country and around the world. We have 40 states, over 60 countries represented within our student body. We have about 30% of our students are coming from Massachusetts, about 70% from Massachusetts and New England, 20% other New England states, about 10% of our students coming from international locations around the world. And we are strictly undergraduates. No graduate programs on campus really ensures that that undergraduate students are front and center. So when it comes time for research opportunities, if you'd like to collaborate with a faculty member, on research that they're doing, or ask them to advise you on a research project that you're doing, they're accessible. They want you to stop by their office hours. They're going to get to know you because your classes are small, on average between 15 and 20 students. So there is a real focus on that classroom experience, keeping classes small, discussion-based, seminar style, and relationship building between professors and students. All of our classes on campus are taught by faculty, so no teaching assistants or graduate students doing any teaching, and 90% of our faculty have the doctorate or terminal degree in their field. Another aspect of our character that I want to highlight is our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Wheaton really believes that embracing diversity leads to personal growth, intellectual enrichment, freedom, and social justice. And we really feel that being a part of the Wheaton community means more than just being tolerant of people who are different from you. It means appreciating and celebrating those differences. Our diversity is represented in many different ways. About 30% of our students identify as domestic students of color. I mentioned approximately 10% of our students are coming from international locations around the world. More than 1 in 4 students are first in their family to go to college. And we were recently ranked a top 10 school for gender equality in the world and top 5 in the United States. So diversity is something that we're particularly proud of on our campus. Our curriculum, I mentioned at the beginning that we offer a flexible educational model, and that's through our Compass curriculum. It's really unique in that it's almost entirely open, so very few requirements. This really promotes flexibility, allows students to try new things and step outside their comfort zones, and students work closely with faculty and academic advisors to craft an educational experience that is unique to them instead of simply completing a set of general education requirements. So in terms of the general structure to our curriculum, there are only 3 requirements that all of our students need to complete. The first is to take a connected first-year experience course. This is generally taken in your first semester of your first year, and it's an interdisciplinary approach to one topic co-taught by 2 to 4 faculty from different departments. And one of those faculty advisors will be your academic advisor until you declare your major. So really allows you to dive into that small discussion-based seminar style experience and do so knowing that you're regularly in contact with your academic advisor as one of your professors for this course. In addition to covering topical material in your first year experience course, it also serves as an introduction to college and introduces you to resources and support networks around campus, things like the library, career services, and so forth. Sophomore year experience is meant to be experiential in some way. It's listed as sort of a course requirement, but the goal is that your sophomore year experience will be somehow experiential. That could be an internship. It could be a research experience. It could be a study abroad. But the idea is that it gets you thinking about experiential learning early on in your career. I mentioned guaranteed internship funding at the beginning of the presentation. Experiential learning is a key component, a key aspect to the Wheaton experience. So sophomore year experience course is designed to get that process started. Third and final requirement is that you have a major and complete the requirements for that major. So incredibly open, very few requirements. Really allows students to pursue what's interesting to you. You might choose to really laser focus in 1 or 2 particular areas, take all of your courses in those areas, or you might opt to take advantage of a number of optional components that are part of our curriculum. We have several honors programs that students can choose from to really add a distinctive sort of flavor to your educational experience. Honors programs are open to all students, not invitation only. And I'm thinking about those as sort of like themed core curricula. So they typically consist of 10 to 12 classes, culminate in a capstone. And our current honors programs, there's one that focuses on diversity, equity, and inclusion, power and social justice. Another that focuses on global opportunities and experiences. And the other is for students that really want the structure and breadth of a classic liberal arts curriculum, taking classes across many different disciplines. So a great way to opt into an honors program if that's something that you'd like to do. Offer a number of skills-based courses, certificate opportunities that allow you to link professional skills to coursework that you're completing. And then you can certainly double major if you'd like. Wheaton has lots of different courses for students to choose from that range from humanities-based courses to programs in the sciences, business, education, psychology, and the list goes on and on. So about a quarter of our students in the past have double majored. And given that our Compass curriculum is fairly new, we would only expect that number to increase given the flexibility within the curriculum. The Wheaton Edge. This is the program through which we guarantee every student a funded internship or research experience by the time they reach senior year. So 2 big promises coming through that you will have that meaningful research or internship opportunity by the time you start your senior year at Wheaton. The other is that it's funded. We don't want students put in a difficult position of having to choose between an amazing unpaid internship and a potentially less exciting paid internship. Students that are taking unpaid internships can actually receive a stipend from the college. The average is about $3,000. But for students that might be doing unique experience that involve travel, those stipends can cover up to $5,000 worth of expenses. So significant resources invested in making sure students are getting great internship experiences, that they're funded, but also great support in terms of helping students through the search and application process. Our Filing Center for Career and Academic Advising starts offering outreach to students right away in that first year, everything from workshops and programs on cover letter and resume writing, networking, in the search process in general, to really ensure students are prepared to navigate that process. Tied into Wheaton's commitment to experiential learning is our robust offerings for study abroad. We offer traditional semester or year-long programs abroad, also some really unique faculty-led trips that happen over the course of 2 to 4 weeks during summer or winter breaks. About half of our students over the last 10 years have chosen to study abroad. And if you choose to study abroad through one of our pre-established programs, you pay the same tuition, receive the same financial aid. The only difference is room and board, which in many cases is actually cheaper for students. Student clubs and organizations, one of my favorite aspects of Wheaton is how incredibly connected students are to the community. They get involved, they do things that they really like to do, you know, whether that's joining a programming council, taking part in one of our on-campus theme houses, which I describe as sort of like clubs with housing. Students really get involved and invest themselves in the community. 96% of our students in a typical year live on campus. We guarantee housing for all 4 years. So that really promotes an incredibly strong campus culture where students get involved, join clubs and organizations. We have over 100 clubs and organizations on campus, which really speaks to the range of interests that our students have and their willingness to put themselves out there, even if they have passions that are really unique to them. And these clubs and organizations range from traditional clubs to intramural and club sports. We are an NCAA Division III athletic program for varsity athletics. About a quarter of our students are involved on campus in that way. So there really is just an amazing campus community where students are getting involved and doing something outside the classroom. Students at Wheaton really have a nice balance between focusing on their academics, doing well in the classroom, but also getting involved extracurricularly. So as we wrap up discussing the Wheaton experience, I wanted to highlight how the Wheaton experience prepares students for life after Wheaton. Our students are meeting success within 6 months of graduation. 97% of them going in a number of different directions, the majority into their first career, but going to graduate school, going on to do some of the most prestigious and competitive national and international fellowship programs. Over the last 20 years, Wheaton has had over 250 students, as the brief film at the beginning showcased, 250 students that have participated in programs such as the Rhodes, Watson, Truman, Marshall, or Fulbright programs. Also worth noting that while it's about 14% of our students in recent years have gone directly on to graduate school, that number jumps to about half of our students that will enroll in graduate school within 5 years. Quick sampling of where students are ending up for jobs in graduate school when they leave Wheaton's campus. Harvard has been the #1 graduate school destination for at least the last 15 years. And students are going not just in the Northeast, but across the country into great jobs in graduate schools all over the nation. So quick recap of some of the really important things about the Wheaton experience, the flexibility of our curriculum that really allows students to pursue their interests and craft an experience that's uniquely them, the guaranteed internship funding through the Wheaton Edge, that close-knit student community that I mentioned, and the strength of outcomes. Students are prepared to do great things when they leave Wheaton's campus, and they're going in lots of different directions. To talk about the admission process, sounds like you're getting some great support and guidance on what to submit. But you can see up here the list of things that we're requiring of our applicants. In terms of proof of English proficiency, we're happy to accept the TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, at-home versions if you aren't able to sit for an in-person exam. We're very aware of the impact that COVID-19 has had on students' availability to find test centers, as well as impacts that students might be facing due to exam scores or remote classes. So know that we're really taking all of that into account. Happy to say we've been test optional as far as the SAT and ACT for over 25 years, so no significant change to that process on our end. If you've taken SAT or ACT and are happy with your scores, feel free to submit them. But even for international students, we're not requiring the SAT. Let's see, in terms of the students that we're admitting, you can see a quick snapshot of averages at the bottom of your screen. Really looking at, everything that you're submitting to us when we're evaluating fit. Grades are certainly important, but we're looking for students that are going to be successful in all aspects of the college experience, and really looking to see what kinds of unique things students can bring to our campus. In terms of financial aid, we do offer merit and need-based financial aid for international students. Merit-based aid, there's nothing separate that you have to do to be considered for merit scholarship. It's awarded at the time of admission, and it's automatically renewable each year. We don't tie GPA requirements to merit scholarship renewal. The vast majority of our students are receiving some form of merit scholarship, so we really do like to reward you for the work that you put in over your high school experience, for your academic and extracurricular achievements. To apply for need-based financial aid, we do require the International Student Financial Aid application. And we do ask our students, except for those that are receiving perhaps a full tuition scholarship, to contribute about half toward the cost of their educational expenses, which comes out to about $35,000 a year. So that concludes the sort of formal part of my presentation. I'm more than happy to take questions and elaborate on anything else that might be helpful.
Superb. Thank you so much, Jason, for sharing all the information and for the wonderful presentation. We do have some questions which are coming in, and I'll just start reading out for you so you can answer them. So the first one is, how can students apply for English proficiency waivers, or who is eligible for a waiver of English proficiency?
Great question. So anybody who has done their complete high school experience in English, we're more than happy to waive that requirement. For students that are doing an international baccalaureate diploma and taking English A, we're happy to waive the English proficiency requirement. And quite honestly, those are the easiest waivers, I would say. But for students that may have had difficulty sitting for an exam and have, maybe they've taken the SAT and want to use that, we're happy to be flexible with students, especially given that lots of students haven't been able to take English proficiency exams, of no fault of their own.
That's great, wonderful.
And they can actually email me directly for those waivers.
Okay, that's great. Does Wheaton provide credits for IB and for AP exams?
Yes, great question. So most courses, we will award credit with scores of 5 or higher on the IB, and 4 or higher on the AP. In some cases, a 3 will satisfy credit. There are also in a number of departments across campus, even on-campus placement exams that students can take to advance in a particular series. I know for sure foreign language, I think some math courses, they offer placement exams on campus.
Okay, wonderful. Would Wheaton accept self-reported scores for TOEFL, IELTS, SATs and ACTs, or do they need to send through the testing agency's website?
So we don't allow at this time students to self-report scores, but we are happy to take scores that a school official has certified as being official. So sort of the interim opportunity. So we would hate for you to have to spend lots of money to send money through the testing services, and it takes time. We're happy to take test scores from a school official.
That's great. Okay, can you elaborate a little bit more on the 3+2 engineering program? How does that work?
Absolutely. Great question. So we have a partnership with the Thayer School of Engineering at Dartmouth, where students spend 3 years at Wheaton, 2 years at Dartmouth, and end up receiving 2 bachelor's degrees, a Bachelor of Arts degree from Wheaton and a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering from Dartmouth. The program is structured in rather a unique way. Lots of schools that offer these kinds of 3+2 programs, it's 3 years and then 2 years. In terms of the time frame, for Wheaton's program with Dartmouth, it's actually 2 + 1 + 1 + 1. First 2 years at Wheaton, then you'll spend your 3rd year at Dartmouth. You'll come back to Wheaton for your 4th year, wrap up your senior year, graduate with all of your friends, and then go back to Dartmouth for the 5th year. So this is the only 3+2 program that I've seen structured like that, and I love it. It means that, you know, you're not going to be abandoning your campus and your friends after 3 years of great times and memories with them. You will miss that 3rd year, but at least you get to come back for your senior year, graduate with everybody. You know, I think it really keeps that community aspect together. So that's how that program works. It's small. You know, there are some years that we don't have any students do it, but a couple of years ago we had 4 students apply and were accepted for that program. So if that's something that you're thinking about, it's actually something you don't initiate until you come to campus and you meet with one of our faculty members who's the liaison for that program. Generally in your 1st year, make the application and move forward. And you can really specialize in any type of engineering that you'd like at Dartmouth.
That's wonderful. Can you shed some light on the study abroad program for students who are planning to do study economics?
Sure. So so let's see, if you want to do an economics focused program, off the top of my head, we have a great partnership with the London School of Economics, where students have studied abroad. They've also gone on to do graduate programs there after they leave campus. But study abroad opportunities really are open to every single student on campus. There are no difficulties or conflicts based on major. And we have students that do sort of program specific study abroad, the London School of Economics program, for example. But if you wanted to just do a traditional study abroad somewhere else around the world, you're welcome to do that. We have students that propose their own study abroad experiences as well. Maybe we have over 100 programs across lots of different countries around the world, but if there's a unique place you'd like to go or university you'd like to study at, we're happy to help you make those arrangements, figure out what credits will transfer and so forth. But definitely, that's one program that comes to mind. I don't know all of our economics focused study abroad programs, but we've got a great Center for Global Education that really helps students find best fit programs.
Wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about how students benefit through the Wheaton Edge program?
Yeah, I mean, definitely that focus on internships is it's invaluable for students. You know, it really, I think, ensures that students are thinking early and often about internships and research. So the sort of nuts and bolts of it is that we guarantee every single student a funded internship or research experience by the time they reach senior year. But the sort of runoff effect of that is that students come to Wheaton and in their 1st year, they're seeing all of these students doing internships, doing research. And so they're already saying right away, 1st semester, freshman year, you know, when can I do that? What kinds of opportunities are available to me? It creates this culture where students are, you know, just really committed to finding internships and wanting to have these unique experiences, which really results in Just great support across campus. Our Filene Center for Career and Academic Advising is pretty unique in that career services and academic advising are under the same roof. So they do a lot of cross-programming when students, for students in that first year, when they're asking questions like, how will I narrow down this list of majors that I'm considering? How am I going to, explore this or this passion or that? They're having conversations then about, guiding students toward internships to say, try this out, see if you'll like it. I think to sort of summarize, I think it creates a culture of doing research and internships, provides amazing support for students, and really ensures that you're having a great experience in the classroom and outside the classroom.
Wonderful. That's really great. Okay, can you tell a little bit about the computer science program at Wheaton and what do computer science graduates do during their course and after their upon graduation?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I can say about the computer science program, it's incredibly hands-on, collaborative, and students have really likened it to be similar to like a computer engineering program, given that it's so hands-on. Our faculty really focus on problem solving. Lots of our classes are structured such that a professor will lecture for half the class, the second half of the class. They're working together, putting their heads together, solving a problem based on that lecture. So students can really dive in, do hands-on work. Students go in a number of different directions after the computer science program. We have one student this past year who was working as a tour guide in our office. She was hired as a computer engineer at Raytheon, I believe. Some students will go on directly into engineering, apply directly into Masters of Engineering programs. We've had students go into Amazon, working on behind the scenes programming for Alexa. Those are some highlights that I can give you, but I know for sure that I must be missing something. So I am going to put a link to our computer science department in the chat. And I know for sure that they have lots of really good information on their website about outcomes and such. So let me bring that up. Perfect. And if you have more specific information that you're looking for, can't find on the website, I'm more than happy to take those questions by email and can follow back up.
Wonderful. Do you see students working on campus? Are there any opportunities for students to work on campus at Wheaton?
Definitely. About half of our students have jobs on campus, and they're doing lots of different things. We hire students to work as tour guides in the admission office, but we have students, that are, working in the library, working for the athletics department, as statisticians, working as tutors on campus, working in departments, maybe assisting with research or other departmental tasks. So working on campus is definitely something that students get involved with. Maybe it's working as a resident assistant in the residence hall. So definitely opportunities to work on campus in lots of different capacities.
Okay, that's great. 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, which all sports are popular at Wheaton campus?
Sports. Let's see. So we have 21 varsity sports, which if you want to play a sport, being Division III means that a lot of our teams will accept walk-ons if that's something that you want to do. But if you don't play sports, but just like watching sports, it really creates a great sense of school spirit on our campus. Big ones at Wheaton for sure are soccer, lacrosse, field hockey. Those are some that come to mind. Baseball, softball. The baseball team has done really, really well the last couple of years. But we have some pretty unique club programs as well. We have a club archery team, club cricket team, ice hockey, and others. So, so pretty active group of students staying active in sports on campus. I'm sure I'm missing some of the popular sports. I will say that being away from campus because of COVID-19 has put some of that stuff into the back of my mind, but it's definitely, once we can return back to normal, it'll be back to that sense of school spirit for sure.
Great. Okay, can you tell a little bit about the residential life at Wheaton? What kind of dorms are available, and about the food options for the students?
Sure. So housing on campus, a big part of the experience. 96% of our students live on campus. We have 19 residence halls that range from traditional doubles, triples, quads to suite style buildings. We have 16 student-run theme houses on campus, which I sort of describe as clubs with housing. The great thing about them is they are not just opportunities for students to sort of isolate and do what they like to do with the people they're living with. They're actually required to put on on-campus programming. So we have, for example, Davis House on campus, which is popular amongst international students and students interested in international affairs. So they put on regular cultural programs, a big international bazaar every year, but we also have Eco House, which focuses on sustainability and environmental friendliness. Outdoors House, which puts on hiking trips, outdoors activities for students to stay active. There's the Feminist Perspectives House that puts on programming related to feminism and women's rights. Just to name a few. Art House for students really interested in doing art, maybe studying art. So those are some great housing options. In terms of dining on campus, we have one main dining hall and a number of satellite dining facilities on campus. Because of the diversity on campus, that is reflected in the food offerings. So in our main dining hall, they do a really great job with transparency in terms of students. We really have a community of students that cares about eating healthy, but also by maintaining students that want to maintain certain diets, whether that's vegetarian or vegan diets. We have a vegan specialty station, so students that are vegan can go straight there and know that there will always be great options at those spaces. But for the general offerings, clearly labeled about ingredients, nutritional values, if it's vegetarian, vegan friendly. We have allergen-free stations in our dining hall. There's a world cultures area as well. So they rotate on a weekly basis, food from around the world there. So definitely a range of dining options, different cuisines, but also scattered across campus. So there are a number of cafes, one in our science center, one in our student center. So depending on where you are, you can find food that works for you.
Superb, wonderful. Is it possible for students to graduate in an accelerated manner? Like, can they graduate within 3 years or 3.5 years?
Definitely. So, so if you're coming in with some significant advanced credit, or if maybe if you didn't come in with advanced credit, but maybe overloaded a couple of semesters, took a summer class, winter session class, you can definitely graduate early. So we have had students do that. We certainly advise students to really take on a course load that's appropriate for them. But if that's what makes sense for you, we'll happily support you in that. I don't have a good sense for how many students graduate early. We definitely have a couple every year that end up jumping up a class year and satisfying the requirements early.
Okay, that's great. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the economics program at Wheaton?
Gosh, one thing I always say about working in admissions, we know a little bit about a lot of things. So I can't elaborate in great detail about the economics program off the top of my head. It is consistently one of our most popular majors, up there with business and international relations. Let me see. I do know that students can go in a number of different directions within economics. You can keep it broad. You can really focus on economic theory, political economy, the international economy, U.S. economy. The great benefit of having so many areas of study at Wheaton is there's lots of opportunity for cross collaboration, so that it's not just sort of a narrow view of economics. They're able to pair with international relations and bring that sort of global perspective, for example. Let me see, I am just on their website, first jobs for economics graduates. We have an annuity sales associate at Prudential Financial, associate business analyst at BNY Mellon, an associate investment consultant, financial analyst, hedge fund services. So those are some brief examples. I will copy the link to our economics department into the chat, so folks have that handy. And like I said, if there's something really specific you want to know, I'm more than happy to take that question by email and research that.
Superb. So Jason, we are almost coming towards the end of the call. And before we close for the day, do you have any final word of advice for these students who are applying to Wheaton and are applying for the next Genius Scholarship?
Sure. I would say have fun with your search process. Really utilize this as a way to, get to know yourself, what's important to you, as you're looking and, finding the best match college for you. Really be honest in your college applications. It's definitely a time to brag about your accomplishments, that you've had over the last several years, but approach the process from the angle of showcasing you and your strengths. Try not to get caught up in what would be impressive or what do the admission officers want to see or hear. By really taking the approach at, and showcasing yourself and your strengths, it'll come across more natural, and you'll probably enjoy it more if you're not stressing yourself out. So try to enjoy the process as best you can, and really come across as genuine.
Superb. So thank you so much, Jason, for sharing all the information with us today and for spending time with us this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Great. And thank you all the students once again for connecting with us and for, again, sharing time with us on this Friday evening. If you have any questions that we could not answer today, please feel free to write to us, connect with us via WhatsApp. And I've also added Jason's email ID here in the chat box, so you can feel free to reach out to him if you have any Wheaton specific questions. Once again, thank you everyone for joining. Have a great day. Have a great evening.
Have a great night and weekend, everybody. Thank you for having me.